You've been good all day. You ate well. You stayed focused. You said no to things you didn't need. And then 10 p.m. hits, and suddenly you're ordering food you didn't plan on, agreeing to things you'll regret, or making a decision you know isn't right, and doing it anyway. This isn't weakness. This isn't a character flaw. This is your brain running out of something very specific. And once you understand what it is, you'll never look at a bad late-night decision the same way again. In 1998, psychologist Roy Baumeister proposed one of the most controversial ideas in modern psychology. He called it ego depletion. The theory was simple but radical. Willpower is not a character trait. It's a resource. And like any resource, it runs out. Baumeister's team ran an experiment. They brought people into a lab and sat them in front of two things: a bowl of fresh chocolate chip cookies and a bowl of radishes. One group was told they could eat the cookies. The other group was told to eat only the radishes, resist the cookies. Then both groups were given an impossible puzzle to solve. The cookie group worked on it for 19 minutes on average before giving up. The radish group, the ones who had spent energy resisting, gave up in just 8 minutes. Same puzzle, same people. The only difference was that one group had already used up their willpower resisting something earlier. They had less mental fuel left, and it showed. Here's what this means for your daily life. Every decision you make, no matter how small, costs something. What to wear, what to eat for breakfast, whether to answer that email now or later, whether to say yes or no to something, each choice draws from the same limited pool. By the time you get to the end of the day, that pool is nearly empty. And when the pool is empty, your brain doesn't just get worse at hard decisions. It gets worse at all decisions. It starts looking for shortcuts. It defaults to whatever is easiest, most familiar, most immediately satisfying, not what's actually best. This is why judges give harsher sentences later in the day. A landmark study of over 1,100 parole hearings found that prisoners who appeared before a judge early in the morning were granted parole about 65% of the time. Prisoners who appeared later in the day, after the judge had made dozens of decisions, were granted parole less than 10% of the time. Same crimes, same records, different time of day. The judges weren't cruel, they were depleted. And a depleted brain defaults to the safest, easiest option, which in a courtroom means deny. This also explains something closer to home. Why diets fail at night, why arguments escalate after long days, why you buy things online at midnight you would never buy at noon. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for long-term thinking, impulse control, and rational decision-making that was the first thing to go offline when you're depleted. What's left is the older, faster, more impulsive part of your brain. The part that wants the cookie, the part that says what it thinks without filtering it, the part that clicks buy now. So what do you do with this? First, make your most important decisions early. If you have a hard conversation to have, a big choice to make, or something that requires real discipline, morning is when your brain is sharpest. Don't save important things for the end of the day. Second, reduce the number of small decisions you make. Every small decision you eliminate preserves fuel for the ones that matter. This is why some of the most effective people in the world wear the same thing every day, eat the same breakfast, follow the same morning routine. They're not boring. They're protecting their decision-making fuel. Third, recognize the late-night voice. When you hear yourself saying, "just this once," or "it doesn't really matter" at 10 p.m., that's not wisdom. That's depletion talking. The version of you making that decision is running on empty. The cookies were always there. The radishes weren't harder to resist because you were weak. You were just out of fuel.